There we go. So the profits performance shown today are not typical to any one individual. You might lose money doing this thing we do called trading. We develop tools and strategies to the best of our ability, but nobody can guarantee any results. There's always a high degree of risk involved in all trading. Past performance of any system is not necessarily indicative of any future results. Trades expressed today may be from historical signals with the benefit of 2020 hindsight. And we'll talk about the icebreaker software later in order to demonstrate the potential of the system. And the testimonials that we'll showcase later are from various programs of Jack Carter. You can see the terms and conditions on the homepages, jeffreytrader.com homepage or jackcartertrading.com homepage or prosperitypub.com homepage if you need more information. Welcome to the show, everybody. Jack, good to see you again, my man.
See you. Good to see you. How you doing?
I'm good. I mean, happy Monday or Friday or wait, is it
Whatever.
Wednesday? Another day in paradise.
Yeah.
Well, S&P down. Ooh, yesterday, nasty. As far as thought we only went up.
Yeah, I know. It's hard to believe this thing can come down.
But I wasn't sweating. I was actually up yesterday, up today. I guess if you're in the quality stuff, doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's right. There's always good quality stuff out there. This market has been amazing.
Yeah, and one of the things we've talked about, ways to find, somebody's like, well, how do we find good stuff? Ways to find good stuff, look at 52-week highs. The stuff that's making 52-week highs on down days tends to really make good new
That's
highs on up days.
that is right. And if you put that 52-week high within the context of an uptrend, then you got it all going on right there.
I was trying to find my 52-week highs list. Here we go. Knew I had it up. You go to something like Market Chameleon. Now, there's a lot of stuff on here. Even today, on a marginal day, there's 171 new 52-week highs, if you can believe it. And you can come in here and sort it. Jack's got tools that he offers to help find stuff. I like to look at the options because I like to play options and find the stuff with more options volume. Robinhood making the top of the list here with a 52-week high and high daily volume on options.
Looking
Second
good.
down here, Alibaba, Rigetti Computing. I don't know about I've talked myself out of getting involved in this quantum computing stuff, but Rigetti right up there with it, 200,000 options daily. IREN, IREN, next up. Then Riot Platforms, Oklo, QBTS, NBIS, JPM, Cipher Mining. So there you go. That's a way to do it. What is this website? It's Market Chameleon. Market Chameleon. You come in here, you can click the stocks button, come in here and click the 52 highs and lows, and this is free to use. I'm not even logged in or anything right here.
Now,
So
there's one little problem with that though, and that's where my trend point software filters it out is the list is too big. The
that's what you
list.
said. That's what I said. The list will be big with 171 names.
Yeah, so
So
mine only has a few qualified, probably 25 in here today. And so they all have to be, for me, over $25 a share because institutions and the big boys don't play with stuff lower than that price wise. It's got to have at least 1 million shares average daily volume. Uh, that's going to eliminate a lot right there. Those two, the price and the volume, and has to be listed on a major exchange and have options. So when my software runs through all that thing, it only comes up. It filters out the junk and just gives you the stuff that's making a new high. And then from there, you just go back and take a look. Is it in a good trend? Like GS, I'm looking at right now. That's in a really great trend.
yeah, I was just looking at really when you just stay on the first page, that's really somewhere down here when you drop below about 10,000 options a day. From there on down, maybe not worth messing with if you're trying to trade options and get liquid, nice liquid fills. So it is a way to filter it out, different ways to do different things. URA coming in here, that's an interesting one. That's been
That's the
rocking and
simple
rolling.
best place to start, though, is a 52-week high. You know,
And it's
everything you need to know about it's built in to the price of the stock right there, and there's a lack of overhead supply, and that sets up a lot of great things, especially if it's happening not a gap based on news or something like that. If that 52-week high happens within the context of its natural trend, look at GS, that's a great example. That goes higher. SOX is at a ETF at a new high.
See Goldman Sachs here hitting the 52 high yesterday. Today pulling back just a tiny bit,
Which is good.
but that's an uptrend right there.
It's a
And next upside target probably up here around 876.
yeah.
And that might be a little expensive if you're trying to trade a put on it, Jack. So what are
Where
some ways we could do this and take advantage of this without doing a naked put or a cash secure put?
credit spread.
Yeah. So credit spread, a way to reduce the cost and get some exposure.
Put
So
is too
it's
much. Put the capital required on a triple digit stock in the 300s is it puts it out of the league of naked puts for me.
yeah, and just to do one, if we sold 1-800 right here, you know, if you had the entire cash secured, that one option at 800, that's the capital
Yeah,
right there.
it's a bit rich. That would take up so much of my dry powder. But another way to make money off this is if you sold the 670. I mean, let's go back to your chart right there for a second.
Yeah.
If we can't do a naked put because we don't have the money, and we can't do a covered call because we can't buy 100 and then sell the call. Same thing as the problem with the put. Then you could do a credit spread. And what you would do here is, since this stock is trending up, I'd like to start off and see if we couldn't get a credit spread in there around sell the 710 and buy the 705. Or ideally, if we could sell the 670 and buy the 665, that'd be even better. But that's how I like to do it. I like to find a level of support that the stock is not likely going to. Here, that would be 670. And then I would start to move up from there and see if I could sell one and buy a lower strike price one and still squeeze out between 5 and 10 or more percent and have that expire next Friday. So that would be cheap because that would only be the difference in strikes times the number of contracts you want to trade. So these strikes are trading in differences of 250. That's beautiful. You'd only need about a quarter, 21 to 25 cents net credit. And
Yeah,
you're not,
down here
yeah.
at 670, we're pretty illiquid, not much happening.
And that's a good way to learn it is if you look at your way out of the money at support, you can't do it. So you're going to have to move up strikes, get closer to the price of the market price of the stock to where you could squeeze in. You might not see a natural quarter difference, but you could certainly squeeze it in on that 737.50 to the 735. You could maybe sell that 735 for maybe, I don't know, 85 and then buy one around 60 in there. But, that spread is so wide, it's showing you that there's not enough action in there.
Yes, but we could come up a little bit closer and start getting more volume showing up here.
Yeah.
We could do it at, possibly a 2.5 wide right in here.
That's good there. There's
And we're,
plenty of room to squeeze out a quarter or more in there. I mean,
so we're
there's a
starting to
2 cent. Yeah.
see a little bit of room here on a 250 wide.
Yeah, that's tightening up a bit. That's better, much better. So
And we're
all you
getting about,
do is, you don't necessarily need to sell the 747.50 at the bid, and you don't need to really buy the 745 at the ask. If you did that, you'd only have a 3 cent net credit. So what I do is I just put the order in with a limit on the net credit, and it doesn't matter to me what individual price those options get filled at, as long as I get my net credit.
and right in here, this one's about a 6% return on risk.
In 10 days. That's not a bad sandwich.
So, this is how you would go from finding something at or near a 52-week high to working your way down in the trade. As Devonish asked in the chat, how would you trade this? So we just walked you through the whole process. What could you do based on finding the 52-week high, figuring out where support is, figuring out where you want to get the trade, and then you work your way into an actual trade that you could do if you wanted to, if you were convinced that this was your one. This is the one you want to do.
Yeah. This is the one. So Devonish, that's a good question. So how I trade a new 52-week high is if I can, I'll buy the stock and sell calls. Or first, I would probably do a naked put. And if I was super aggressive, I would also buy the stock and sell a call. And if I was going to go for the triple crown, which is naked put, covered call, credit spread, that's what I would do on this one. But you have to be able to handle 100 shares. So Goldman would only be for me for a credit spread. Couldn't do the triple crown on it because it's cost too much.
And
So
just a little rich. But if you got a bigger account,
yeah,
this is the kind of thing you can just do one of, or
little,
two of, or three of. It just depends on how much money you got.
little story about Trend Point Software was back in 2000. In 1999, I opened a public account. I traded it in front of everybody. I put $25,000 in an account at Schwab, traded it for a year, took all the trading confirms. They used to mail you a confirmation, took it down to a
Yeah.
CPA. He gave me a compilation report, showed the account was up 286% for the year. Now, as great as that is, there's a lot of people that do things in life that they're great at it, but they don't know why they're great at it, you know? And so I wanted to take all these confirms down. I laid them out all over dining room table, pool table, everywhere in the house. Mrs. Jack was going crazy, hundreds of confirm papers everywhere. And what I was trying to do was say, what do my best trades have in common here? What do the real big winners have? And what they had in hindsight, when I reversed engineered it, was they had all made a 52-week high. The second thing, the best ones were over 25 bucks. I lost money on $15 stuff that I was trying to trade, so I ruled that out. And it had to have the volume. And those were all the common threads. So took that and ended up making Trend Point Software out of it. So that's been 25 years. That's been the engine that pulls the train for me. And that's why I like 52-week highs. Because, when you go to start off picking a stock, you're either going to go technical analysis or fundamental analysis. In fundamental analysis, the analysts are reading all kind of garbage. And from that, they try to predict a price in the future. Whereas with technical analysis, I don't predict, I react. If I see a stock that's trending higher, I react by buying that stock. I don't read anything. I like to pretend I got adult ADD, but really I'm just too lazy to read quarterly reports. And I also believe everything you need to know about the stock is reflected in the price. So that's how I came about with that. And that's been maybe the secret to my success for 25 years.
Yeah, that's I've commonly held that the only real two truths in the market are the price and the volume of stock that's willing to be traded at that price.
Amen, brother.
And everything else is kind of made up.
You're right. It's not kind of made up. It's 100%. Here we are again. We're about to enter the fourth quarter of 2025, and analysts and economists have never been more wrong. Again, third year in a row, they've been totally wrong, right? From 2022 all the way here now, they've been not even worth paying attention to, economists or stock analysts.
Yeah, I mean, what can he say, right? Um,
That's it.
I sit here and make predictions every day, and sometimes I get lucky, knock on wood.
Yeah. Well, you know what you're doing too. So I had this rancher tell me the other day, I cracked up laughing. I'm in here, I got to be in here for the market sometimes, and I'm out fishing the rest of the time. And he's talking to me about how I'm doing. Tell him I'm doing pretty good. He boils it down to, the harder I work, the luckier I get. So I would say that applies to you, right? You say you're
Yeah,
lucky, but it's a reflection of your hard work.
and if he's got some cattle, being a rancher, that's just making money right now.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
it
mean,
is.
look at those
It's
values of cows going up right there.
crazy. The bulls out here are just insane, man. I've never seen bulls this huge, Angus.
That's it looks like we're going on up to 280 per 100 pounds. That's on the
I've
hoof.
read somewhere
Crazy.
that the America's cattle herd combined was at the lowest number it's been in decades. I don't know if that's
And
true.
50 years. I did a whole story on this morning on my YouTube channel, and the lowest it's been in 50 years.
The number of cows, huh?
Yep.
Yeah.
You know,
So that would absolutely plain old economics that would drive up the price of beef. And the funny thing about a herd of cattle, and I hear this out here all the time, is that if you have a problem with a herd and it goes down, you're not just going to rebuild that herd the next year. It takes years to get the genetics in the herd right,
yeah.
and it's devastating what can happen. South American cows, and that doesn't include that, Rob, and Australian cows, that doesn't include that either.
Although, there's Brazilian right there, Brazilian meat import, JBS. And if you want good old American cows, potential Tyson right here controls, even though you think of Tyson as being chicken, but Tyson controls most of the beef.
Bad jockey, horrible. That young Tyson grandson kid, he's been a disaster. Did they get him out yet?
I don't keep track of Tyson. It just,
I used to own it. I think he got a DUI and he did all kind of crazy stuff. Spoiled rich kid grandson, terrible jockey. They got to get him out. This thing should be absolutely ripping. You know that?
oh
This
yeah. Food prices are like epically high and they
they
ought to
should,
be making record profits, kind of like when oil goes up.
they
Oil
should be
companies make record
hiring this
profits.
guy today. Man, they are if they could unlock all this potential, this stock would be $100. But
Absolutely.
terrible management.
And then, everybody's favorite one to trash if beef keeps going higher. Yeah, this potential maybe come back.
No way. This was one of my best shorts ever. I think it got up to 280 at one point, and I was just
Oh
thinking,
yeah.
this ain't gonna work, man. It's jelly, it's gross. I've never tried it, but one of the guys that was behind this thing and in development, he told me that they actually put a chemical to make it look like it was grilled on a charcoal grill, like the
Yeah.
patties. That's disgusting, man.
They put chemicals in it to make it bleed like real meat. And
Oh, man. So all you're doing is eating a bunch of chemicals jelly. I mean, that is the grossest thing ever. Beyond meat. Yeah, that's way beyond meat, man. Does not taste good. I know, Carol. I'd be afraid to eat it. Okay, let's do a little quick poll. Yes or no, would you try fake meat? Yeah, this thing's at $3. Yeah, this reminds me of no, this reminds me kind of GameStop, before the deal, everybody shorted that thing, and when it got down to $4, people were still shorting it, and that was stupid because it's got nowhere to go lower,
yeah, I
right?
mean,
So they all
yeah,
got
right.
the head ripped off at $4. So this thing turns, watch out. It'll just be a meme stock. It is gross. JD says no. Oh, we got one yes from Pete DeBrock said yes, he would try it. You can't hide from me, Pete. I see you with those nation of letters and numbers in there. You would try it, so that's good. How about a Beyond Meat hot dog? I saw those in the store. Kid was carrying them around trying to get them in his mom's grocery cart. That looks disgusting. He was this little toddler's carrying around a pack of fake hot dogs.
Hey. Hot dogs is parts anyway.
Right. It's beyond meat to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like it just depends, if beef just got to the point where nobody could afford it anymore, it's an alternative. I mean, I'm just throwing it out there. As you want to do a quinterium type play,
I don't
this
care if it goes to $1,000 a pound. I'm not going to stop eating steaks.
there you go.
Yeah.
Jack's a steak guy, so
I don't know if it's even good or bad for you, that Beyond Meat. Yeah, I hunt for my beef. Roe deer is good. Pete DeBrock says. Yeah, we do a lot of hunting, but not for beef, elk and deer.
so
You know,
anyway,
and
I you know brought up a controversial topic. Get everybody involved here.
Yeah, it's controversial, but at 287, wow, that is just
Yeah.
amazing. What a failed
Yeah.
deal, right? They really tried, but hey,
It's like almost 100 times less than a pound of cattle for a share of Beyond Meat.
carnivore. Yeah, I know. Uh, my doctor tells me all the time I am on a high cholesterol pill. He tells me quit smoking cigars, quit eating steaks. I tell him, Jamie, I'm not going to do that. Just I'm not. I think happiness is a big part of health, so I'm going to eat
uh,
steaks and smoke cigars.
I can't argue with you there. If we're not having fun every day, what are we doing here? I mean,
Yeah,
that's
eating
it's kind of my
good.
philosophy.
Right.
And good news, Jack. The team reached out to me. We're trying to work it out to come down there in January and hang out with you in person live.
Cool.
So,
Was that a
uh,
done deal?
well, they don't have dates yet. I need dates to be able to confirm with the boss, the one that runs my social calendar, make sure I don't have any other prior commitments.
No, that'd be
But
great if you could make it down there with me. I mean, people love the live stuff,
yeah,
and the way
absolutely.
we do it live is just blows people's mind because we do the two main things they need when we're live. We educate to the point there are no questions in the crowd, and then we execute. All right. So we do live trades, and you can do the same trades I'm doing. Every trade that I talk about, I do everything from the naked put to um, a married put. We've done that, covered call, credit spreads. It's great to educate, get everybody on the same page, and then execute trades together with all the different strategies. It's awesome.
Well, look at this. We pushed it right to that 111 last night and then turned on Bitcoin right here.
Yeah, what happened there?
Still got more to go. More upside. We need to get through this 116. If we can do it, going higher.
No, Administrator, we did not do the dividend session yesterday. We should be doing it today, or you want to do it today or tomorrow?
So this is
Or
I'm bullish on Bitcoin still. Um,
So
Jack
am
and
I.
I talk about IBIT just about every day.
Yep. I got 3,000. I got assigned a little bit, and I did sell a few shares at 66 and change, but still around 3,300. The only time I add to this position now is through a naked put assignment. I'm not buying anymore, and I've got a 71 and a 73 call out there. I think they both expire 2 days. So if they expire worthless, I'm going to resell them higher. I'm going to pick higher strikes now because I picked the 71 and the 73 when it was about 65. I got the stock put to me at 65 and 63. So I'm good with that. But over 3,000 shares I don't want. And I'm going to peel a few off above 80.
All right. Yeah.
Much.
We could possibly, circling back here, the top roughly could be up here at about 150,000. That's where I've kind of predicted the top was going to be for nearly 4 years now. If we just go about 150 even, that's about a 35% upside from where we are right now on Bitcoin. If we go
And
back to IBIT, which
what's the
basically
short interest?
moves,
Can you find the short interest on IBIT?
yeah,
That's
just
going to have a huge impact. Um,
yeah, in just a minute. I mean, maybe he has, 86 might be where we top out. So if I'm right on my top prediction here, right around 86 maybe where this baby tops out.
That'd be amazing. I'd love to have that happen with a short squeeze. Yeah,
Now I
bring
know,
Mrs. Earl. Bring Mrs. Earl. Mrs. Jack might be there. So yeah, bring your wife for sure, Earl. We're gonna have a
and
good time. You don't have to bring her to the cigar smoking session, but if you want to, you could bring her to that. We're gonna have a little class on cigar smoking, I think, after
I
we do.
talked about. Yeah, I talked to the boss about it. She may come, depending on if we can, work out the schedule and everything. So
It's a lot of fun, man. It's a good hotel. That beach in Jacksonville is amazing. You could fish out there in the morning before the market opens. I could have my breakfast cigar out there while I'm fishing, and then we'll meet inside and do all the good stuff.
now I know that there are free places you can go look at the published short interest and stuff like that, but I like to come on to Ortex because they do a little more than the public available information. So we were talking about this a week or two ago, and somebody was very adamant that you can get all this information free. Yes, you can get the published information free. That's kind of the gold standard. They publish it twice a month. But Ortex goes above and beyond to collect kind of more live day-to-day short interest data. Right now, it's showing the shorts on IBIT only about 1% right there. So it's not a heavily shorted thing right now.
Well, it isn't, but what's average daily volume? So if you look, there's 17.67 million shares short. And if it's not trading, it's probably trading way over 17 million a day. But
Yeah, so we can go back in,
a
look at
day.
IBIT, look at the volume, average volume, 41 million.
Yeah, so that's nothing. There's not enough short interest to get a squeeze.
Yeah. So, yeah, short only sit at 17.6 million shares roughly estimated, and daily volume 41, almost 42 million shares. So that's if we could soak up all the shorts in half a day.
Yeah, good.
Alrighty.
Doesn't matter.
Now, if let's say you didn't want to play options, you didn't want to, even though IBIT's relatively affordable, you could do options. Maybe you don't want to sweat like the time frame or anything like that. Some other ways to take advantage of this would be to buy just shares of BITU right here. It's a 2x leverage. And then another one, BITX
How
would be
much
another
leverage
one.
there?
How much? What?
How much how much how much leverage on BITX?
These are just 2x leverage right here. Both of those BITU and BITX are both 2x leverage.
Pedro, my email is support@jackcartertrading.com. My team is live in there today. Nobody's asleep at the wheel. If you want to send me an email, they'll handle it. Uh, a good short squeeze percentage would have to be closer to 50, 40. Just any percentage that on an uptick, the brokerage firm is going to say you're going to have to either short more to bring up your average cost per share short, or you're going to have to throw in money into your account. Because if you're short a stock, let's say at 50 and it goes to 70, right? You're losing $20 per share, almost 50%. The broker's going to make you come in and either buy the close and take the loss or short more or throw money at it. So it causes a real problem because a lot of people that short, that initial short, especially for the retail guy, that's a big percentage of his capital. So he cannot afford to finance the short or throw more money at it. He's got to buy it back. And that's where the short squeeze kicks in. And that's when a stock will really rip higher.
So without worrying about options, you could potentially get, we were looking at 35% on Bitcoin, which 2x would be 70% upside on BitX or BitU, either one. You just use the tool, find 70% up, roughly up here around 92, 93 would be the target if Bitcoin hits my target. So there you go. That's how you can work it right there.
There's options on this too, yes?
There are, but putting options on leverage, that's leverage on a, it's already a derivative type instrument when you're not trading Bitcoin directly. So you're a derivative of a derivative of a derivative, be careful.
Yes, be very careful.
That's like, soaking yourself in gasoline and then playing with matches and nitroglycerin,
Yeah, that is. I was
blow
only
you,
about it
blow
to
you and your account and everything up.
that's right. I was only looking at this as a potential to sell a covered call if you went long.
Yeah, the only one I like to do that on is TSLL. That's the only one I've had really good luck doing that. Just the I think it's partly because the liquidity in Tesla's actual options spill over into this one, and I've just had really good luck doing naked puts and then selling covered calls on it too. So
Especially at that price. I mean, wow, that's a
yeah,
great price for a little action.
at
Yep,
20 bucks and the volume on here is really strong, especially in the I mean, look at hundreds and hundreds of contracts flying in here, thousands of contracts.
perfect. Yeah, Pedro, it's support at jackcartertrading.com. That's my email. Anybody can send me any question there.
There you go. Threw it
There
in the
you go.
chat for you.
Thank you.
And let's see. I was trying to see. I know Vortex changed everything around. There used to be a short scanner. Let me see if I
Yeah.
can find it. Here we go.
Yeah, JD, I think it's going to stay up.
Yeah, so we got you can see with some of these bigger ones. If you were interested in short squeezes potentials
Yeah.
here and Beyond Meat making the top list
Yeah.
here.
Hold on one second. Let me see that. Golden Therapeutics, Galactin Therapeutics.
Yeah, I
Those,
kind of stay away from I stay away from those biotechs because they're so dangerous.
they are dangerous. And statistically, they have the highest number of failures of any industry. It takes, and their burn rate is the killer, right? As they're trying to develop a therapeutics, man, they can have a seriously high burn rate. So look at Beyond Meat is in there.
Yeah, they're free float on loan at 57% right there. That's just
Yeah.
wild. I
I
mean,
won't
for
talk.
people to short that much, to borrow and short the shares that much when it's only got $2 downside, I don't know how you make that much money on that.
I don't, but you can just tell people don't have faith in a lot of these therapeutic stocks, biotech stocks, pharmaceuticals. Look at it, Greenwich Farm.
Yeah, the odds are they're gonna plummet into the abyss. So
Plummet into the abyss because of too much debt, too much burn rate, and too long of a cycle with the government.
wow, look at Newegg here.
Holy,
Holy moly.
that wow.
Let's go take a look at that one. I can see why people have been shorting that.
Yeah, really.
That's
Wow.
meme stock, kind of crazy. That's probably coming back down.
That's got $5 written all over it.
And
Yeah.
that's at 45 right now. So that's yeah, that one probably coming back down. I bet the options are crazy priced on this one too. Don't even have many options available.
That's strange.
I'm not getting any pricing. Wonder if it's halted. It's not moving. Looks like it's halted. Crazy. That was just crazy.
It is crazy.
So I have tools like this because I do like to find and trade some of these opportunities occasionally. Now flowers, 1-800-Flowers getting 100%, 107% free float on loan. I've always wondered how in the world do you get more than 100% on loan, but I
Well,
guess
you have to hypothecate your shares is really what it is. And what that means is that you let the brokerage firm lend them out to someone that wants to short them. And then they'll take a percentage of everything that's out there. And yeah, this thing is trading on air.
yeah, that one's going back to the lows probably. And
So
going out of business is a real possibility here.
it is. A lot of companies and a lot of ETFs will be going out of business in the next couple of years for sure. There's just some of this stuff that just flat out is not going to work, like Beyond Meat. And the thing about Beyond Meat is no one would even want to buy it.
Yeah.
People don't like it, so that it's just a really strange situation. And some of these over leveraged ETFs, MSTY, NVDY, some of those they'll probably be gone.
This is another one that's on the, I just scrolled down just a hair and got 76% of the free float on loan here on Rocket. That can cause a squeeze that shoots higher and then an epic drop right back down.
Yeah, and sometimes it doesn't really take a real event to cause the squeeze other than people buying it and forcing the squeeze. Without a news event or without a trend, they'll just look like we're doing now at stocks that have a big short and add to it. But I
Yep.
got to tell you, I don't play anything to the downside. I always use a market-driven strategy. So I wouldn't look to do anything to the downside unless SPY, DIA, and QQQ were below all three of my trend points. Otherwise, when they're above all three trend points, like all three of them are today, you want to use a market-driven strategy and be on the long side of the market. You're going to have much better success trading in the same direction as the broad market all the time.
Now here's an interesting one. I started selling puts on this one. I just scrolled down a little bit and found this one. This one has a 49% short interest, and it has a technical pattern to go a little bit higher. I've sold a few puts on this one a couple weeks in a row now, and I kind of like it for a pop up here into the 20s or 30s, just
Yeah,
short term. I'm not long term into this. Just I actually started the premium was so juicy on this one, I couldn't pass it up.
that's the
It
big.
has a beta of 3.3.
Exactly. But this, a lot of people think this is one that's going to not really work longer term unless it gets bought out.
Yeah, I mean the short interest is basically 50% right now of the free float. Pretty
The
wild.
thing it's
So
missing to me is the trend. It's got to have a better trend than that. But the beta's there. The price is a little too low for me, but this is a very controversial stock.
so the shares free float of 50% of that is on loan for shorting.
Mm, mm.
So that gives a huge opportunity, especially when you look at the average volume is only 67 million. You're talking about 180 million basically shorted.
3 days.
It's 3 days of volume almost to cover that. So that could result in a nice fat upside pop right there with the beta 3.3. The premium's really fat. And, you know, when you look at it, the last several months, if you just zoomed in from April bottom, we're on an uptrend.
Yeah.
And it may not be a new all-time high. We did, get above the gap here recently. That's what got my attention. Get above
Yeah.
this gap down from February. And it, in all likelihood, if it follows through on my technical pattern, will make a move on up into, 28 to 30 area right up in here.
It's another stock they sold off on Liberation Day that had nothing to do with a tariff. They're throwing the baby out with the bathwater on that day. Everything
So,
went down. At program selling just sold off everything, whether it was related to a tariff or not. That's how you
and
know the market has overreacted.
an administrator, I can't comment. I don't really know what Lance does at all. There's not many gurus I keep up with what they do at all. Jack and I talk more than I talk to any other guru. So, um, yeah, I don't follow many other people's stuff anymore. Since I figured out what works for me, I just kind of do that. And Jack and I have a lot in common, but we also do things differently, if you haven't noticed.
Yeah, my style of trading is more in line with what Jeffrey does than anybody else we have here. But I love all these guys. Lance is awesome, but he's strictly, uh, a short-term option player, and that's a great business to be in. He's got a great scanner for that, but he would look at the options going long on a short squeeze. That's what he would do, and go long that same option.
Now, me personally, across my family, I do manage quite a bit of money for my family, my mom, my dad, my wife, me. Um, yeah, I manage 20 something accounts and I don't know, it's probably around $1 million right now. People have taken a little bit of money out since COVID and stuff like that. Um, I'm fairly heavy invested in crypto right now, looking for that crypto top. Just being straight up open, honest with everybody. Jack here, he's pretty heavy in tech with some exposure to Bitcoin also. And I'm pretty bullish on Tesla, and that's probably the two biggest conviction plays I have going right now is long on Tesla and long in crypto. And crypto is
Oh,
not anything specific. I'm pretty broad exposure across that. So
coins or the
uh,
ETFs?
it it's like I have a broad exposure. So I'm in the miners, I'm in coins, I'm in options to go higher, and I'm not, I do have some exposure to the meme coins a little bit, and it's just a broad exposure to crypto going higher and making this top. And when we get to this $150,000, I'm probably going to cut 90% of it and be out because I do expect a crypto winter. It's happened. Bitcoin's only been around 16 years. Every 4 years, it goes through a 70 to 80% drawdown. This is the fourth year. Probably going to do a 70, 80% drawdown. It's just almost, people are like, well, this time's different. To me, it's no different. The history, every 4 years, it does it. Until it proves it doesn't do it, I'm going to observe that it does it.
That's a good way to do it. I got a little bit of coins, not too much. Coin base, really not too much at all. But I got a huge position in IBIT. And the thing about it is with the crypto, with the coins, if we go through a crypto winter, you can't create any cash flow off that stuff, right? But
Right.
but if you use IBIT, ETHA, you can cash flow all through the crypto winter. Even if it goes sideways, that beta is still going to be there, and that volatility is inherent in it. And so it's always going to have covered calls, good covered calls for you to sell. And you could sell them all through, if there is a crypto winter, all through that crypto winter and do great.
I was trying to find a chart that I had this drawn on for everybody. Let's see. I'll probably have to change my layout to one where I actually draw this. So I had this big red line drawn here. I put this on here almost 4 years ago, back when we were making this low right here. I put that line on there as like where I thought we would kind of come into the top. And there's the target I've had on the chart for a long time. The bottom of it, right around 150. The top of it, if we got extra spicy, up there around 300. Right now, with the way this is just kind of farting around right down here, I'm not sure we're going to have the momentum to get up in there before we experience the next crypto winter. And that probably going to take us down. That arrow is the crypto winter right there.
Yeah.
And there's the target
That's,
on the downside,
when do you think
already
that
drawn out.
place?
And I think we could come back down to the $40,000 to $50,000 area. Yeah, that's 74% already drawn on there from a potential top right up here around 150 to 170. So this is a very real reality. And next year would be, sometime around September, October next year is when I expect it to bottom out.
Wow.
That arrow right there. It'll be fast
Gonna
and
be
vicious and rough.
gonna be a real house cleaner. That's gonna challenge people's belief in crypto if that happens.
Absolutely.
Question is IDO a better trade than IBIT? No. BITO is just covered calls on Bitcoin. That's BITO.
BIT BITO is actually futures
Oh
on
yeah.
crypto on Bitcoin.
So I do
And
not think it's better. I don't care for BITO.
now it's beta to Bitcoin. This is an interesting thing. When you compare BITO to not to the S&P, but to Bitcoin itself, its beta is 0.8. So using it to get Bitcoin is a little weird because it's based on the futures, and futures have contango and backwardation. And you can go Google those on Investopedia if you want to check those out, what that means.
Those are big words. Say them again.
Backwardation and contango. That has to do with when you roll a future from this month or this contract to a future contract. If that future contract is higher or lower than the current contract, it's either backwardation or contango. And
Tango, like it
companies,
can do the dance, or can tango and tango. I like that. I'm going to throw that out there today in my daily life. I'm going to use that word.
Yeah, contango and backwardation right here. These are the
Continue
two.
the larger one.
Yeah,
Right.
contango is the one from above, and backwardation is when you drop below.
Okay, there you go.
And for anybody that didn't, has never witnessed or seen this, you can see this in action by taking ES and subtracting the S&P 500 from it. And then we have to take it off log mode. You can see these contracts for futures when you roll them forward every 3 months. There's your contango right there. But it's not always the same when we look back in the history of S&P 500 and get back here a little bit. You get some of these go down and it has backwardation. So it's not always that you're getting contango, and it's not always the same. Like, we don't always expect the market to be going up as violently right there. So that's maybe you learned something new today. Let me know in the chat if you appreciate this.
Carol wants to see WNTR.
Yeah.
Buy it today. Today's X date pays the dividend.
I'm not a fan of this chart. I don't know about you, Jack, but
Nope. Nope. You don't even need to look at the whole thing. You could just look over to the right. I don't know what this is, but I would not mess with this short option income ETF. Look at that. So whatever the yield is, what's this tell you the yield is? That's the hook, right? Everybody wants these high yields, but they don't realize that, man, that you get killed in this net asset value. So forget that, right? That 80%, 81% dividend yield, that's not really dividend yield. That's a not dividend. What's the other word I'm looking for?
well, they're paying out the NAV is what I call it.
Yeah, not the NAV. So that's a bad deal right there.
Yeah, they're eroding their net asset value by paying out a high dividend.
Yeah.
And over the time here, that it's not gone anywhere either. Like, if you had gotten lucky enough to buy in down here in July, you're up a little bit. But this can very quickly take another spill
Good. It
down
could go
again.
into business. I think a lot of these yield max funds and title, the manager that works for them, I think a lot of them are going to go adios.
I don't know that this is going to you know, it is short MicroStrategy and with an option income strategy, which means they're not really holding anything that can benefit greatly, just some options plays to try to take advantage of the moves. And
It's,
um, one of the ones I have, or one of the ones I've been tracking to, just to be able to short crypto when crypto finally breaks is wrecked. Um, this is, it's not a yield max. It's not a, it's run by Direxion, which is a relatively, I don't know about you, Jack, but I kind of like a lot of the Direxion managed funds,
yeah.
and they're a pretty reputable ETF manager. It's got no leverage. It's just 1x bear. And when we reach the top, I'm probably going to be buying some exposure to this, maybe through some leaps to take advantage of a run higher. But until we get there, thing can still plummet into the abyss right here.
Tell them about a leap.
So a leap, we talk a lot about staying in the weeklies and the monthlies and stuff like that, but you can fly out, and this one doesn't have much for leaps out there right now. It's a long-term, L, long-term, E, equity, A, anticipation, P, product, leap. And it's a long-term equity anticipation product. And what you're doing is you're kind of making a long-term bet on where you think the price is going to go. And right now, like I said, there's not really much. Usually you'd be out a year. February 26th, that's not really out a year. May 26th, not really out a year. That's just out October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May. That's 8 months. That's not really long term. Certainly not something like, if we looked at Tesla, you can fly here to January 2028. That is long term. That's 849 days right there.
That is long term.
Now, it's certainly not like 2040, but it is as long as the option market's willing to let you bet on. Now, other things you can look at for long-term equity anticipation, like futures, you can actually fly out and buy to December 3rd, 2035 right now on something like oil. So if you thought we were going long, if we're going to go much higher in oil, you could play out to 2035 if you needed to. Those contracts for futures are available out there. So there's different ways to play different timeframes and different theses in what you expect to happen in the markets.